Hey everyone, welcome back to my Python class. And today we'll be going over the final part of lesson 1, which is the solutions to the logic test I presented last time. Alright, let's get to it. And for a refresher, here are the solutions for last time's logic test. The first one was 495, and then 15, and then hello 2, and these were in increasing difficulty. So let's go ahead and review them one by one. Okay, this was the first logic test with a pretty easy difficulty. Let's take a look. What I like to do when I approach code or scripts is to look at them line by line and see what it's trying to tell me. So starting in line 2, because the first line, this is just a comment. So starting in line 2, we have the variable called sandwich, and we're putting a string, okay, 42, so this is a string, into the variable. Next, we are defining another variable. We're doing another variable assignment statement. And we're putting the integer 453 into this variable. So this is the integer. Next, we are taking 453, this integer, and then we're putting it into sandwich. Now remember, originally I put the string into the sandwich, but now I'm overriding it with this integer. So now sandwich, this variable, has 453 in it. And next, I'm putting this integer 42 into DNA. And remember, before I had 453 in DNA. Now I'm overriding that and putting into 42 into DNA. Finally, I'm printing sandwich plus DNA. Sandwich has 453, which is the integer, right? This is the integer. So integer, here we have the addition operator. And then finally, we have DNA, and DNA has the integer 42. And so when you combine two integers together, when you add them, so you just get 495. And that's how we arrive and in the final solution when it gets printed out on the terminal. So this will be an integer. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Here we have pizza, which is a string, and we're storing it into this variable called DNA. Next, we have this short nucleotide sequence, and we're storing it into cheese. Then we have the string value 5, and we're putting it into sauce. So all three of these values are strings. Next, we are adding DNA and cheese together. DNA has pizza, cheese has GCATA, which is again a nucleotide sequence. And so we are going to concatenate them. So it'll just be, so A here, what it would have would be pizza, and then GCATA concatenated together. Finally, we're printing this statement out, which is the variable, the integer 5 plus the length of a. Now remember, the length function returns a variable, returns a integer of the length of whatever you put into it. Here we have a, the variable a, which has this concatenated sequence. And the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this will be 5 plus 10. Both are integers. And so the final solution of this statement here will be 15. And this will be an integer. Alright, and let's go ahead and look at the final logic test. So logic test 3. We begin with having the string 4248, storing it into this variable called car. Next, we are storing the length of car, and we're storing that integer value into a. So the length of car, this function, remember, it tells us the length of whatever we put into it. In this case, a variable containing 4248, and the length will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And so now a It's essentially, it has 4 stored into it. Next, we are using the string function, and here I wrote on the side what the string function does. It allows us to convert the argument into a string. So the argument is just whatever we put into it. In this case is 4, the integer 4, and so the integer 4 now becomes a string value, and we're putting it into salad. So now salad, this variable, has the integer, has a string 4. Now this 4 is a string now, no longer integer. Okay, next we are taking the string value of 73 and we're concatenating it with the salad. Remember, the salad has the string, the value 4, which is the string. So 73 plus 4. Again, these are strings, not integers. So we concatenate them into, and it will be 734. And this will be a string into B. Finally, we're printing out this entire statement, which is hello, which is a string, plus here the most outer function is the string function, which converts whatever we have in here into a string. Here is the integer 11 modulator length of B. Length of B is right here, which is 734. The length is 1, 2, 3. So this will be 3. So the length of B will return 3. And then 11 modulator 3. Remember, 3 is a integer. Would be, let's see, 11 divided by 3, 9. So the remainder will be 2. Remainder is 2. And so 11 modulator 3 will be 2, and we're converting this integer into a string, so this will be a string, and then the solution of this, when we print this on a terminal, that's why the solution is hello and 2, which is concatenated to it. So this one was definitely a bit trickier, but hopefully this all makes sense. And with that, we conclude lesson 1. I hope you guys found all the material useful. So for lesson 1, definitely go ahead and watch, if you have time, watch the first part, which is the lecture, the second part, which is the with examples and the logic tests, and finally this third part, which are kind of my solutions and how I will approach the logic tests. And all of those, all 3 videos are the completion of lesson 1 for this Python course. I hope you guys really found this useful. Thank you guys for tuning in.